What's good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's going on with the overall market moving forward and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. And the offer ends very soon in just about 2 days. Anyways, for Tesla, we had this nice little pop and drop like moving out. Tesla's kind of dipping a bit. I'm going to be watching this 183 support to see if Tesla could hold this. I did call this out yesterday. Tesla may kind of pop and then drop. That's what's happening so far. But I do have a warning for everyone. SPY pushed to a new all-time high, and now we're starting to dip a bit. So just be careful as we have this gap to fill right here, and we're at some new resistance at this 550 area. So we'll have to see how SPY does here. Same thing with the QQQ. We have a gap to fill below, and we are once again, we approached the all-time high, and we're in a very, very critical place because gapping to a new all-time high and opening these gaps is not the best of news. And we'll see if the market ends up rejecting or not. If it does get a rejection, this could cause Tesla to dip lower. So I'll be watching that very carefully. But anyways, that's something else that's worth noting. I also wanted to mention to everyone that from the way things are looking, we just had initial jobless claims and some data. Initial jobless claims came in aligned with expectation at 238,000. Continuing jobless claims are also aligned with expectations, not looking bad whatsoever. The prices paid is actually right now the Philly Fed is showing prices paid have gone up a little bit, whereas new orders are also kind of decreasing a bit. So it's kind of a mix of data for inflation. And besides that, we'll just be waiting for the bill auctions in just a few hours. But that's pretty much it for data. Now, as far as Tesla goes, there are a lot of questions being asked if Tesla could produce 400,000 vehicles in the second quarter. The reason why this is an important question is because there is some uncertainty about Tesla's numbers. I was looking at the Chinese sales data, and it's not looking the strongest for Tesla. It's still looking a little lackluster, but we'll see if they can kind of offset that with US sales. And we also have some time left, at least for the quarter. So let's hope we get a big push towards the end, and we'll see how the American numbers look, at least for them. Teslas are popular in the US. They were just listed as the top car, at least in America, as the most American-made car. Not bad whatsoever for Tesla. And they are very popular in the US, so let's hope we get some good sales, especially as deliveries come out in just a couple of weeks. And in about a week and a half from now, a little longer than that. And then for other pieces of news, the good news is Tesla's beginning and testing its FSD in China, and that's actually a big market for them, and that's going to be very useful for them moving forward. So I can't wait to see what that leads to. And then finally, I wanted to call out that Tesla's Mexico plant has stalled out. That's very important because Elon Musk seems kind of indecisive on when the plant would open. He also mentioned they're laying the groundwork and such, but at the same time, you have to understand what's going on with the global economy. Now the expected completion date has slipped from mid 2024 to 2025 or 2026, and it could slip a little bit further. So we might not get another update with Mexico being completed until next year. We'll see how that goes, but that's a little negative for Tesla. That could be part of why it's kind of tipping right now. So looking at the share price, I mean, it is looking to me like it's going to dip a little lower and try to retest this low at this 183 area. And we'll have to see if Tesla could try to get a bounce here or not, because then we still have like a nice, support where it likes to bounce from. If we lose 183, we could be dipping all the way down to the balance around 180. And if we hold this, we could rebound. So I'll be watching that very carefully. There is risk of some downside. As far as SPY goes, I'm going to be very, very mindful of the fact that we have a gap to fill below, and we just approached this 550 area. We'll have to watch and see how we end up reacting here. If we fail to hold 550, I do expect this gap to fall all the way down to 548. And if that fails, this will be dipping even lower, down to 547 all over again. But watch 550, that's going to be a critical resistance. It's a new all-time high for SPY, yes, but just be careful because we've never visited this before. And we'll see how SPY performs here. Could we pop here, shuffle a bit, and then start coming down? Or do we just start sinking from here? I'll be watching it. I think just watch the reaction. 550 is going to be a tough resistance. For Nvidia is up to 140 a share, once again breaking all-time highs. But one thing worth noting is the fact that we have a big gap below that's forming. So I'll be watching this resistance right here at this 140 area. If we break this, we could be going all the way up to about 142. If we end up projecting here, we'll be dipping down to about 138. And if that fills us, we have this big gap to fill down here. So I'll be watching that as well very, very carefully. In my personal opinion, Nvidia is really struggling. Not struggling. It's very, very strong, but you have to be careful with it because of the fact that resistance keeps getting tougher. So we'll be watching to see how well this ends up holding up. For Bitcoin is on a very, very nice looking uptrend. I just want to make it very clear that with the way things are looking, we might actually dip a bit and retest our 20 EMA around 65,500. And we'll see if we get a bounce there or not, but that's something else that's worth noting. For the QQQ, it's the same thing, essentially a SPY. We hit a new all-time high around 488. If we break that, the next price target is to be all the way up here towards 490. So I'll be watching to see how things end up kind of like developing from here. If we end up losing this very, very key level, if we actually fail to hold 488 and get back above it, I'll be expecting this gap fill. It does look like it's going to try to fill this gap at 485. If that fills us, we could be dipping back down to 484 or so. So watch that very carefully. Besides that, we also have Aapl. Apple is showing a little weakness that kind of gapped up. Now it's dropping a bit. If we fail to get back above 214, I do expect 212.5 to come and eventually 210. So I'll be watching that very carefully as well. For a few more, like Coinbase is looking kind of flat right now. It did pop a bit. We did call out a little pop that's coming to the markets, but now as we're approaching type resistance, I'll be looking at this gap to see if that fills, at least for Coinbase. That's going to be pivotal for the way it continues to move. For Amazon, we're kind of flat right now. If we could break past 184, there's going to be potential for it to try to bounce. But so far in the hourly time frame, we're struggling to break past our key EMAs, and that leads to a risk of it actually dipping to the lower 180s if that ends up failing. So make sure you watch that very carefully. We'll have to see how that goes. For Meta, this has been trying to rebound a bit. We did call a rebound on Meta as well yesterday, but just know at 505 it's going to be testing some tough resistance. We'll see if that breaks. For now, I think it's going to try to push a little higher, and we'll see if we get a rejection of 505 or not. For a few more, like GameStop is also trading kind of sideways right over here. We have resistance currently around 27, and then we have this support down here at 24. We're still trading very flat, so I'll give that some time. Same thing with AMC is trading very flat. We need to break past 5.5 to turn bullish. We're still kind of stuck, so give that some time. The last thing I want to call out is the VIX. The VIX came down to fill this gap technically, but we haven't filled this other gap here. So are we about to see the VIX kind of start dipping down to fill this gap and then bounce, or will it bounce from here? I believe that I'd be careful with the VIX. There also happens to be an inverse head and shoulders here, so watch to see if we get a bounce on the VIX or not from here, or if we come down. We're at a very, very critical level, and this does suggest the market could be in a topping process. So just be careful, and we'll just have to see how we end up reacting from here. With that being said, guys, with Tesla, there might be a little dip coming back down to the 183s, and watch and see if Tesla could hold 183 or not. We're approaching some key levels, and I'll just be very patient at least nonetheless. But just know that Tesla may dip a little bit lower, retest 183. If it bounces off this, then yes, we could be going back up to 185. If we fail to do so, there could be a bigger dip coming to the lower 180s, especially if the market continues to drop. That is my warning for everyone, at least before the market opens. All right, thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in just a few hours, and peace out.